Hey, Ravens fan, have you stopped to think that there might be a big problem with the team, something that could directly affect our chances of winning? The season is progressing, and while there are some positives that stand out, there's something that isn't working as it should, and it needs to be fixed urgently. If this problem continues, it could hurt the team's performance and even put our playoff hopes at risk. Want to know what's going on and how this could impact the rest of the season? Then stick with me till the end, because I'll tell you everything you need to know about this. Go Ravens! Look, the Ravens defense has been a real struggle to watch this season. In 2024, they've already allowed over 3,600 yards and given up 253 points. That's a lot. You can understand the concern, as these numbers are some of the highest in the league. Even though the Ravens have played a few more games than other teams, it's still worrying to see our defense giving up so much ground and allowing the opponents to gain so many yards. The issue is that when the defense can't hold the opposition back, the whole team feels it. If the defense allows the other team to score too many points, the offense has to work harder to make up for it. And while Lamar Jackson is playing great and putting the team in good positions, a strong defense is essential to balance the game and keep the team secure. Just imagine the pressure on the offense when almost every game the defense allows so many points. It might push Jackson and the offense to take more risks to try and keep the team ahead on the scoreboard. That's why fans are on edge. Allowing so many yards and points is like opening the door for the opposition. If the defense doesn't toughen up and close those gaps, the Ravens will have to rely solely on the offense to win. And we all know that relying too much on offense isn't the ideal formula for winning a Super Bowl. This high average of points is going to put a lot of pressure on the offense to compensate for those defensive failures. One thing that's really concerning is the average of points the Ravens' defense allows per game. Among all NFL teams, Baltimore ranks 9th in the worst defenses in points allowed per game. To give you an idea, in 7 of the 10 games this season, the opponents have scored 25 points or more. This means that almost every time, the rivals manage to put up a good number of points, which increases the responsibility on the offense to keep the game balanced. With this high average of points, each game becomes a struggle to stay ahead on the scoreboard. When the defense lets the other team score so much, the offense has to come in under pressure, needing to score as much as possible to cover up those mistakes. And although Lamar Jackson is playing very well and putting the team in good positions, relying on him to make up for those points can be risky, especially in important games that require a more balanced performance. If the defense can't lower this average of points allowed per game, the Ravens will continue to depend on almost perfect performances from the offense. This could become a serious problem in tighter games and against elite teams, where every point matters and any mistake could be costly. And you, fan, do you think the Ravens defense will be able to adjust this points allowed average by the end of the season? Drop your opinion in the comments if you trust that the defense will improve, or if you think deeper changes are needed. Let's discuss it in the comments. Now, the biggest challenge will be finding a way to fix these defensive flaws so that the team can find balance between the two units and not overburden the offense again. One obvious issue with the Ravens defense is the lack of pressure on the opposing quarterback. In many games this season, the Ravens have been ineffective at getting to the rival QB and forcing mistakes. This is a huge disadvantage because when the quarterback has time to throw the ball, he can find open receivers and exploit the defense. This situation only increases the chances of the opposing team dominating the game, as a calm QB finds it easier to lead the offense. When you can't pressure the quarterback, he gets comfortable executing plays with more confidence. This has a direct impact on the defense, which ends up allowing more deep passes and more successful plays. The lack of pressure also allows quarterbacks to find their targets more easily, which can lead to big plays that change the course of the game. And this puts even more pressure on the Ravens offense, because the offensive plays need to step up to keep up with the pace of the game. If this lack of pressure isn't fixed, the Ravens will continue to give opposing quarterbacks too much time. This could become an even bigger problem in games against experienced and skilled QBs. If the defense can't find a way to put more pressure on the opposing quarterback, the chances of success in the playoffs will decrease significantly. Well, we're past the halfway point of the video, but I noticed you haven't left your like yet. This is really important so that YouTube continues to recommend my content to you. And that way, I'll keep bringing this to you. So, hit that like button. It's free, and I really appreciate it. Thanks. Let's continue. Another factor that has been standing out is the depth of the Ravens roster, especially at some key positions. While the team has great starters, the lack of quality options on the bench has been a problem when injuries arise or when substitutions are needed during the game. In some situations, when the starting players are off the field, the performance level of the team drops significantly, which directly impacts the outcome of the games. The lack of depth in the roster could be a major obstacle throughout the season, especially in tight games and the playoffs, where you need contributions from all players. When injuries start to affect the team's key players, roster depth could be the factor that determines the success or failure of the season. If the Ravens can't improve the quality of their roster, the team might run out of options to fill in important absences, which would be a huge problem in decisive games. Moreover, a deeper roster helps maintain intensity throughout the season. When players get rest and have quality rotation, the team stays competitive throughout the year, with less risk of physical wear and tear. This is crucial because injuries accumulate over time, and if the team isn't prepared for these setbacks, the lack of options could be a critical factor in the pursuit of the title. One often overlooked but extremely important factor is the consistency of the running game. While the Ravens have shown good running plays at times this season, they still lack more consistent and impactful performances throughout the games. An efficient running game not only helps control the clock and the pace of the game, but also makes passing easier, creating more opportunities for the offense. When the team can establish the running game consistently, opponents can more easily predict the plays, making the offense more predictable and easier to defend. This puts extra pressure on Lamar Jackson and the passing game, which needs to adjust to each defense that tries to shut down the Ravens' attack. Also, when the running game isn't working, the team becomes more dependent on the pass, which can be risky in tough games, especially against defenses that know how to handle long passes. If the Ravens can better balance the running game with the passing game, the offense will become more unpredictable and harder to defend. This can make a huge difference in offensive performance, especially in tougher games. Having a strong running game not only increases the chances of victory, but also reduces the risk of the team becoming predictable and easy to control. So, Ravens fan, what do you think about this problem? Do you believe the team can fix this in time to compete for wins? Or do we still have a lot of work ahead of us? This issue could really determine how the season plays out, so your thoughts are crucial. Do you think the defense can tighten up? Or do we need to see some major changes? Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's discuss what can be done to turn things around and hopefully get back on track for the victories we know this team is capable of. Looking forward to hearing from you. See you in the next video.